People of Chelsea, this is Carrie Schumann for Chelsea Community Cable Television and Executive Director Paula Bradley Batchelor. Our expert videographer Ricky Velez is behind the camera. We are at the Intercontinental Hotel in Boston for the ROCA Breakfast, and I have a very special guest, the Mayor of Revere, Patrick Keefe. Mayor, great to see you.
Great to see you. Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Good morning, Chelsea Cable Access. Just wanted to welcome you all to the ROCA Breakfast. I know this is your Revere friend, but we were North Chelsea at one point, and I know that we're going to be celebrating the 400th soon. But coming over to the ROCA Breakfast, Legislative Breakfast, ROCA is a big part of our community, much like yours in Chelsea and other surrounding cities. So we're happy to be here. Hopefully we can talk about new ideas and what we can do as a partnership with ROCA and the cities of Revere and other multiple municipalities. So have a great day.
Okay, thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you.
Okay, let's bring in Leo Robinson. Leo Robinson, Councilor at Large. Let's talk about ROCA and their impact on Chelsea and the whole area and Baltimore and Springfield.
Well, actually, ROCA started out in Chelsea and have dealt with a lot of young people and help guide them to the right path to be on. They've been able to expand to Springfield and out into Baltimore, and they're doing a lot of police training to be able to understand and relate to the populations that are being served in these communities. And all we want to say is, they've done an outstanding job.
I agree.
Yes, and, to Molly and her staff, I take my hat off to them.
Thank you very much, Councilor Robinson. Let's move over to one of Chelsea's greatest athletes. We have to say hello, David Batchelor. We learned that he pitched a no-hitter in high school, which is really probably one of the few no-hitters in Chelsea high history, right?
Yeah, get lost in the archives.
Former Chelsea police captain. Dave, what your role with ROCA and its impact on the community?
So ROCA has two parts to it. I work for the ROCA Impact Institute, which I'm doing training for police officers and corrections officers. So we've been doing it for a couple of years now, and probably trained about 5,000 officers, Massachusetts and down in Maryland.
It's amazing the national model that ROCA has become, isn't it?
Yeah, they're all over the country training probation departments, youth service departments. Now we're doing police and corrections. So yeah, they're all over the United States.
And how are the boys, the sons?
Boys are good. They're all men now. They're all they're growing up. I got 2 grandchildren, beautiful. Right, got a little girl that we didn't have. We had 4 boys, so it's nice having a girl.
Okay, we have a very special guest. He is the Essex County District Attorney, Paul Tucker, former state representative, doing a great job on the North Shore and beyond, and he is here today to support ROCA. Mr. Tucker, talk about ROCA.
I'll tell you, in my time as a state rep and as district attorney, I've had the pleasure to work with Molly Baldwin and her staff at ROCA. They do phenomenal work. They really get out on the street. They're working with folks every single day, keeping people on the right path. And it's really about keeping people on a good path, to doing good things. We have a lot of folks that are at risk, and ROCA just every single day is doing everything they can for these folks, and I've been proud to work with them.
Okay, it's great to be here.
Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it. It's a wonderful morning.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Okay, we have a very illustrious official in law enforcement. He is here today for the ROCA Breakfast. Former Boston Police Commissioner Ed Davis. Great to see you, Mr. Davis.
Nice to see you, too. It's good to be here. Thank you.
Let's talk about ROCA and its impact on the community all over.
Oh, they've done incredible things in the Commonwealth. I remember when they were a much smaller organization than they are now, and working closely with them over the years. And the people have just been so committed to the community, especially in Chelsea. Brian Kais, who was the chief over there many years ago, worked very closely with ROCA, and it's just a great organization. I support it heartily.
I see you on television a lot.
Yeah, it's been a crazy time. Yeah. We work in crisis, and there's a lot of that nowadays.
Okay. Thank you for all you did for the city of Boston.
That's very kind of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. We have a distinguished person in the judicial system, Justice Amy Nectum, head of the juvenile court system in Massachusetts. How are you doing, Judge Nectum?
Doing Doing well. It's always nice to see my Chelsea friends.
Yes.
Yes, yep. No, 23 years now with the juvenile court. Gonna retire at the end of June.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yes. But the work that ROCA does for that very vulnerable group of young people is extraordinary. And how nice that they're in Chelsea.
Yes.
Molly does a fabulous job.
She's the daughter of the great Saul Nectum, one of Chelsea High's greatest athletes.
One of Boston's, the world.
Yes. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank
Do
you.
you get back to Chelsea much?
I do. Every chance I get. It's still where I'm from, my grounding. You feel the same way. It's
We're retiring.
going to be retiring, but not going to stop doing this important work. I'm not sure where it will be. Going to rest a little bit and then see what happens.
Be at your retirement celebration.
I'm going to go out nice and easy. But congratulations to ROCA. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Great role model, Chelsea High, class of 72.
Do you need to tell my age? I mean,
Sorry.
I mean, hello. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Judge Nick.
Thanks for being here. It's important.
We have the woman of the hour, of the year, of the decade. She is Molly Baldwin, founder, CEO of ROCA. Molly, congratulations.
Thank you.
We're here at another breakfast to celebrate this great legacy of ROCA and its continuing presence in our law enforcement community. You've done a great job.
Thank you so much.
Talk a little bit about ROCA and how it's become a national model for this.
Well, thank you. So first of all, although we're a national model, our heart and our home is in Chelsea always, where we started 36 years ago. We now work with 1,800 young people at the Center of Urban Violence across Massachusetts, in Baltimore and Hartford. And then we have a coaching institute that's national, working with over 3,000 people, teaching them some of our core strategies. We are so grateful to know and be with young people, and we witness all the time the most remarkable and hopeful change.
Your services are needed more than ever, don't you?
Yes, I wish they weren't, but so it is. Yes.
Did you ever envision this success when you founded this so many years ago?
No, and we couldn't do. We have a wonderful staff team that's incredible. We could not do this alone, and no, I never could have imagined this. I'm still really an outreach worker at heart.
What's on the agenda for today's breakfast?
Well, you're going to meet a couple of young people who've made huge changes and will just inspire you. And we have a great recognition of the district attorney for Hampden County, who's doing a special court project with us. And the speaker is Larry Miller, who wrote a book about his life. He is a Nike executive. He led the Jordan brand, but he also had a really difficult as a teenager and got in a lot of trouble and finally told his story and is so generous sharing it with young people and staff. It'll be a great morning.
How rewarding is it for you and your staff when you see a young person and you've totally changed their life and you've put them on the right path?
Right. Well, first of all, they have to change their own lives. But what we do is we're still relentless, meeting people, our relentless outreach. We give them the skills to make changes, and it is just, it's so incredible. In all that is so hard, we are so lucky to bear witness to those changes.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll be waiting. You too.
All right, great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
That was Molly Baldwin. She is here. Her staff is here. And we're having a great time at the breakfast. Okay, we are with Counselor Todd Taylor of Chelsea. Mr. Taylor, great to see you. And we're here to celebrate ROCA's success.
Absolutely. ROCA's a real important part of what we're trying to do in Chelsea and elsewhere now. And, you come here and you celebrate a good organization that does good work. And so happy to be here.
How's everything in Chelsea city government?
Not too bad. We're coming along. So, getting ready for budget hearings. So we'll see how that goes. And we have there's always going to be stuff, but that's what we're here to do,
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks, Gary.
Very special guest here. He will be speaking today, Mr. Larry Miller. Congratulations on all your success, and you've had an extraordinary life, and now you run the Michael Jordan brand.
So, yeah, I'm the chairman of the advisory board for the Jordan brand, yep.
And what's it like to be here in Boston and talk about ROCA?
It's been great. ROCA's been amazing. They put me to work as soon as I got here and had me working the whole time, but they do great work. I got to see some of the people and talk to and experience some of the people that they've actually helped change their lives. So it's great, and I'm really thrilled to be able to help ROCA and to be here and support them.
Well, thank you for being here, sir. It's an honor to meet you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, and it's an honor to be here in Boston.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Miller.
Hi, good morning.
Chelsea City Councilor Lisa Sanagate, great to see you.
Great to see you.
It's nice to be here to celebrate ROCA.
Certainly is, and for all the incredible work they do in Chelsea and in the surrounding communities and in other states. It's just an incredible model using cognitive behavioral therapy, and I am all for their work and their mission. So it's great to be here early in the morning in the middle of the city, and I can't wait to hear Larry Miller. So it's going to be a great day.
Great to see you.
You too. Thank you, Carrie.
Okay, a very special guest. This is Josh Kraft, who's done so much from Chelsea for the whole city. He's really helped so much. He is here today. Josh Kraft, ROCA is quite an organization.
Great organization. I've been lucky enough to know Molly for 30 years, and her commitment and passion for the youth, no matter if they're in Chelsea, Springfield, wherever, she cares, and that's the most powerful thing and to this reason why ROCA is so successful.
We still see you at the Chelsea Jordan Boys and Girls Club, which you founded and made it what it is today, and it's continuing to flourish.
Yeah, a great place. Gina is the best, the executive director. We got Michelle over there, the other executive director. And, of course, the community, starting with Carrie. I remember meeting Carrie day one when I started in Chelsea.
Okay, it's great to see you, Josh.
Thank you, Carrie.
City Councilor Manuel Teschi is here. Great to see you.
Great to see you, too. How's it going?
Good. Let's talk about ROCA and its impact on the community.
Oh, it's great. Honestly, the reason I'm here is because they've been involved for a good number of years, and they stay involved, and that's what we like to see. So, I'm doing everything I can to support.
And how's everything in Chelsea City Hall?
So far, things are I think it's a good. I mean, we have a good friend.
Let's bring your colleague Calvin T. Brown in.
Kerry, good morning. Good morning, Ricky. Again, thank you guys, Chelsea Cable, for being here. It's a great event for ROCA. They do so much for our community. It's a great avenue to get youth involved in this program. So just here to celebrate and also to support this event. How you doing?
It's great to have new faces on the city council, isn't it?
Yes, I'm hanging out with my good friend here. Young kids and young men and women. They're doing a great job coming in, and I think the city's in well position for the next few years to have some really good, talented youth in our department of city government.
Enjoying your service on the city council?
I'm enjoying it 100%, and I'll keep doing it, as long as I'm given the chance to.
We are with a very special guest, Peter Katugian, the sheriff of Middlesex County. He is here today to support ROCA.
That's right. ROCA is a great organization. It is amazing to see the energy that they bring to such a great event every year. We use them in the Middlesex Sheriff's Office. They provide incredible benefit to the incarcerated individuals in our place, our young adults. Couldn't do it without ROCA.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'6".
6'6". Wow, because I'm about 6'2", and you seem, well, would you believe I'm 5'11"?
I'd believe that.
Where'd you play basketball?
I didn't play basketball.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm a competitive tennis player, actually. I played tennis my whole life.
Oh, what school?
I played at Bridgewater. I continue to play today, so it's still something that I get to do every day. And I know there's a lot of great tennis players coming out of Chelsea, too. It's a great sport to get kids involved off the street, engaged. Teaches you a lot about life as well.
Okay, I imagine you were very good at the net.
I was pretty good at the net, yeah. Getting up to the net was a little bit of a slower process.
Okay. Great to see you, Mr. Katugian.
See you, too.
She has arrived for the breakfast. We know her very well in Chelsea. She is Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Welcome, Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll.
Thank you, Carrie. Wouldn't want to miss a ROCA Breakfast, an amazing organization. Started in Chelsea, did the good work, build the trust, and now look at it 20 years later, thriving, helping so many communities, not just in Massachusetts, but across this country in many places.
So fortunate to have Molly Baldwin running the ROCA organization.
Nobody better than Molly. So smart, so committed, such a hard worker. It's just a pleasure to see how this organization has grown.
How's everything in our great state of Massachusetts?
Fantastic. We're spinning a lot of plates, trying not to drop any.
You and Governor Haley are doing a great job. Thank you so much for what you do for our state.
Thank you, Carrie. A lot of gratitude. Appreciate it.
The Chief of Lynn Police, Mr. Chris Reddy, great to see you.
Good to see you as well. We're happy to be here and support this excellent organization. We work with them regularly, and they do really important work.
ROCA has a presence in the city of Lynn.
Oh, yeah, a very strong presence. A strong relationship with the Lynn Police Department, and they do really important work with young people at risk in our community. We're grateful for their presence.
Great to see you.
You as well. Have a good day.
How you doing? A distinguished member of the legal profession. He is my Suffolk County District Attorney. I am a constituent. I live in Chelsea.
All right, good morning.
Great to see you, Mr. Kevin Hayden.
How you doing? Good morning. It's a wonderful morning, isn't it?
Yes.
Here to celebrate with our ROCA partners and all the good work they do for our youth in Chelsea and in Boston. And this is a wonderful gathering. Huge room, beautiful day.
Let's talk about Molly Baldwin and her leadership of ROCA.
Molly Baldwin and the entire team, just absolutely incredible. Everything they're doing to help our youth, everything they're doing to expand and help our law enforcement around crime reduction as well. It's absolutely incredible.
Okay, thank you for all you do for our county.
All right, thank you. Have a great morning. God bless.
Nice to see you. Thank you
Take
so
care.
much.
Good morning. Welcome and thank you all so much for joining us today. I am Molly Baldwin, the CEO and founder of ROCA. Every year, thank you. Every year on this morning at this event, I think about how a small group of us created ROCA in the late 80s. We were focused entirely on the young people who had no one looking out for them and were most in harm's way. If only we knew then what we know today, that ROCA and these young people would attract such support and consideration and passion from so many partners like all of you. It has been truly humbling to watch this community grow, and I am honored to be among you today. We would like to thank our major sponsors this morning, Rockport Mortgage Corporation, Dan and Carrie Lyons, the Mancuso family, Mass Mutual, Mark and Jeannie Haggerty, Steve and Andrea Canub, Devika Kapoor and Hiran Mankodi, and thank you to so many others who are so generous. We are also grateful to work with wonderful elected officials and appointed officials who help us with our work. I'm going to read this list and request that you hold your applause till the end. Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll, Senator Eldridge, Representatives Armini, Donato, Maduro, Montano, Chief Justice Nectum, Chief Counsel Benedetti for the Committee of Public Counsel Services, the Honorable Maureen Walsh, the Honorable Kevin Maltby, Hampden County District Attorney Guluni, Suffolk County District Attorney Hayden, Middlesex County District Attorney Ryan, Essex County District Attorney Tucker, Suffolk County Sheriff's Department Assistant Superintendent Steinberg, Middlesex County Sheriff Katusian, Boston City Council President Lou Ejean and Councilor Tanya Fernandez Anderson, City of Revere Mayor Keefe, City of Chelsea President Norlis de Jesus and Councilors Brown, Garcia, Jimenez Rivera, Santagay, Taylor, Teche, and Robertson, Commissioner Iffel, Deputy Commissioners Gomez, Coelho, Mirasulo from the Massachusetts Department of Probation, Undersecretary Kwan from the Massachusetts Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, Assistant Secretary Juan Vega for the Massachusetts Office of Economic Development, Commissioner Goldstein from the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, Interim Commissioner Jenkins for the Massachusetts Department of Corrections, Commissioner Reardon and Deputy Commissioner Smith of the Massachusetts Department of Youth Services, Deputy Commissioner Cole of the Massachusetts Department of Transitional Assistance, Director Threadgill of the Office of Children, Boston Police Commissioner Cox, Boston Chief of Health and Human Services Massot, Chelsea City Manager Maltese, and Lynn Police Chief Reddy. If we forgot you, my apologies. So thank you all for joining us. ROCA's mission is to be a relentless force disrupting incarceration, poverty, and racism by engaging the young people, police, and systems at the center of urban violence to address trauma, find hope, and drive change. When ROCA started over 36 years ago, it was clear that there was a group of young people who were completely left out of school, youth programs, and jobs. These young people were at the center of urban violence, struggling with trauma. They were also highly vulnerable and at times highly volatile. With years of youth and prison work, I knew there must be a better way than prison and early death. With young people, we started ROCA with that clear vision in our minds. Today, ROCA is a nationally recognized community violence intervention organization known for our signature approach of relentless outreach to young people who want nothing to do with us, and Rewire CBT, a breakthrough model of behavioral health brought to the streets and based on brain science. ROCA is designed to teach skills for individual behavior change, and as Dr. Alicia Moreland-Capuya of McLean Hospital says, teach skills, not will. At 36 years old, ROCA has two levers for change to do our part in reducing urban violence, addressing trauma, and moving towards racial and economic justice. ROCA's proven intervention model is uniquely equipped to identify, reach, and engage the young people most likely to shoot or be shot, and to teach the emotional regulation skills to avoid making decisions that can have destructive and sometimes fatal consequences. ROCA works directly with 1,800 young men and women across Massachusetts, Baltimore City, and Hartford City. At the same time, the ROCA Impact Institute brings skills to over 3,000 community violence intervention, juvenile and young adult systems partners, and police a year. We accelerate solutions in criminal justice reform, policing, social justice, and community healing by forging strong and lasting relationships with systems and their leaders, all in the service of young people. Through these important partnerships, we have achieved policy, practice, and procedure improvements that create better outcomes for young people. Young people at the center of urban violence often live with ongoing, complex post-traumatic distress disorder. It leaves them in a near constant state of survival mode where violence leads to more violence. It is easier for many young people to get a gun than a healthy meal. Systemic racism, underinvestment in many communities, and a lack of resources accelerate a public health crisis that fuels violence. ROCA uses brain science and behavior change skills to reduce urban violence and promote health equity by giving people the skills they need to heal their trauma. And when the young people who are referred to us want nothing to do with us, which is both typical and almost all the time, we go find them, no matter how long it takes. We help them address basic needs, sort out court and safety issues, bring them to education and employment programming over and over again until they will show up on their own. We work through relapses and teach Rewire CBT every day in every way we can to help young people learn to take an 8 to 12-second pause between what they think and feel and what they do. Then they have agency. Then they can be the young people and young parents they hope to be and access other opportunities to grow, learn, and live. And what we do works. When we are able to engage young people for several years, we see remarkable changes. with regard to improved behavioral health and emotional regulation and incarceration. The data speaks volumes about the impact of our work. In fiscal 23, 97% of our participants with us for 2 years or more experienced no new incarcerations. Over a 3-year period, the recidivism rate for ROCA young people is 30% less than their peers in the Commonwealth. There have been significant reductions in homicides in 2 of our large communities where we work, Boston and Baltimore, 10% and 24% reduction respectively. While those are powerful statistics, this work has been defined by the quiet success of individuals learning the skills to overcome trauma, make the right choices one decision at a time. One more gun put down, one more day sober, one more day to work on time and back home safely. We are here today because we have watched these small victories add up for so many young people, and the transformation is astonishing and encouraging. It is a sacred privilege to know and walk with the young people. Beyond all the very painful realities in their lives and our communities, we witness extraordinary courage and the most remarkable growth in the young people we know. How lucky are we? Thank you for joining us to make this possible. In this short video, you will meet a brave young man, you will go for a ride with a youth worker, and you will learn from a former cop who now teaches police what we teach young people, Rewire CBT.
The population that we work with is the highest at risk of shooting a gun or getting shot at. They can't even leave their block without getting shot. So they're stuck, and the only thing that they know is violence.
At the time, I didn't have no options. Being outside 24/7, walking around, no job, just doing nothing with your life, bro. Just losing your life in the street. It's either jail or death. The only way, like, I could come out of jail if I joined ROCA, I needed guidance.
CBT stands for Cognitive Behavior Therapy. We use CBT in a way that helps them to think, feel, and do on their own, and there's a different way of life.
With CBT, you just think, reflect, just bring your feelings down.
If it wasn't for that ROCA police collaboration, we'd be in deep trouble.
In the training, we talk about the theory of CBT and how you can get into spinning cycles. And then if you can notice those cycles, you're able to disrupt them and have a more emotional regulation.
You have to understand how you're thinking. It impacts your behavior, it impacts your feelings, and how they all work together.
The future of policing is working with organizations like ROCA.
I used to be angry a lot. I used to be angry. I'm not angry anymore. It's a blessing to be here talking.
You can find the agenda for today's program through the indicia on the stanchions on your table. Viche Phung was born in a Thai refugee camp while his family was fleeing the Cambodian killing fields. Before immigrating to the United States, he joined a gang with his 3 older brothers and spent years in and out of the streets. Over time, Viche came to accept responsibility for causing harm and made remarkable and long-lasting changes in his life. He helped other young people change their lives too. At 23, Viche was tragically killed in an industrial accident. Despite his young age, he was a wise person who was beloved and admired by many. ROCA's Viche Phung Peace Award recognizes ROCA participants who, through their hard work and determination, have achieved substantial, positive change in their lives, exemplifying the transformation which ROCA seeks to enable in all of the young people we serve. 6 years ago, we established ROCA Baltimore to begin working in one of the most violent cities in the country. Since that time, we have worked with more than 500 young men. I am thrilled to introduce you to Kurt Palermo, Executive Vice President of Maryland, who has done the most remarkable job leading our team there, who will introduce you to the first Viche Fung Peace Award.
Morning, y'all. So anytime I speak at an event, do an interview or talk to someone about ROCA, I can always hear Molly telling me to speak from the heart, right? Let your love of young people shine through and don't be nervous. Today is a great day for ROCA, but it's an even more special day for the young people that we're honoring. Whenever you hear someone talk about Baltimore, you hear about the crime, the violence, the shootings, and the homicides every day in the news. You might even hear that it's a city you should avoid. But I've learned to know a different Baltimore. It has its challenges, but it's full of hope, opportunities, and hundreds of young people that I've seen make amazing changes in the last 6 years. And one of those young people is here with us today, Justin Folks. It's an honor to be here with you and your family, Justin, to celebrate this. And today you are a beacon of light for our city. I'm so proud for all that you've accomplished and know that your journey is just beginning. Cherish this moment with your fiance and children, and when you look back on today, know that you are a positive light shining through all of the negativity. You've shown the world that change is possible. A year and a half ago, ROCA lost a friend and a colleague, Derek Neal. And in the last circle he and I kept together, he said something that stuck with me ever since. He appreciated having a job, but he was so grateful for it to be at ROCA. And today I could not be more grateful. Congratulations, Justin. We're all very proud of you. We love you, and we're so happy for you. Thank you.
My name is Justin Folks, 24 years old. Growing up in West Baltimore, to somebody that's not from West Baltimore, it wouldn't be known, but it was kind of accustomed to the things you see. Life before ROCA, I really didn't have much positivity. And, I was a father at the time. But other than that, I was in the streets. Led up to me being shot. I was shot with a assault rifle, and it got stuck in my shoulder. When I came home from the hospital, I get a call from my grandfather. He was like, "Hey, a guy came by here to see you." Safe from ROCA. At that time, I was still 80% in the streets. Like, my head was just, all on that.
The day that I met Justin Folks, he was traumatized. He didn't really trust very well.
Like I told you once before, I don't know where I would be if they didn't step in and take the initiative. It's like, you tell yourself, I can change, I could do better, but you don't really see where that change would take you.
Everything we know about brain science tells us it takes about 18 to 24 months to see a sustained behavior change. We're not naive. We know that it's not a light switch. Because you refer to ROCA, all of a sudden your entire life is going to change. It takes time. It takes reinforcement of intentional conversations. It takes CBT over and over again.
The growth that I have seen with Justin over the last few years, going to NCIA, getting his HVAC certification down to teaching himself how to learn how to play the piano so he could play for his girlfriend for their wedding.
He is very, very family oriented. His children and his fiance mean the world to him. He's very, very focused, very optimistic, and very driven.
The biggest challenge that they helped me overcome was getting my record expunged. I started off doing HVAC. It's like I worked my way up this ladder to being a supervisor for the Housing Commission of Anne Arundel County. That's kind of like a big thing because, I soaked in everything that I learned, all the jewels and free game that I get here from just people that been in my shoes before. people see more in me than I see in myself. So that's a plus. What I look forward to when I wake up, I look forward to dropping my son off at school. I look forward to going to work and making a change. Every day I wake up and make it back home is like a step closer to my goal. They gonna have Olympics me? I'm gonna say real loud, that fella has me right there.
Thank you, Justin, for sharing your story and inspiring us. And yes, we agree, you are one handsome guy. In addition to the privilege of knowing so many incredible young people and working with a top-tier team of committed staff, we continue to meet remarkable partners, supporters, and advisors. I am now going to tell you about two of them. The late James E. Mahoney, known as Jim, was a trusted advisor, colleague, and friend to all who worked with him at Bank of America and to many others in the community. He was skilled at turning policy into business results. He also worked passionately to advance second chances for formerly incarcerated people, advocated for systems change, and believed strongly in ROCA's mission. Bank of America is a longtime supporter of the ROCA and the lead investor in the ROCA Impact Institute. Each year, ROCA's James E. Mahoney Award recognizes an individual organization who has demonstrated innovative leadership, humility, and commitment to system change on behalf of young people. We are so grateful to Jim's family and the Bank of America for allowing us this privilege. We are joined today by his wife, Peggy McLaughlin, and brother, Dan Mahoney. And we have a very special person who will tell you about himself and announce our award winner. Please welcome Zion Dixon.
Good morning. It is an honor to be here with you all today. 4 years ago, I was a very different place I could have imagined than that I would stand before you all today with the distinct privilege of presenting this award. At this time, I struggled to support myself while trying to manage a serious health condition. My depression led to me make poor choices. As I sought to make money in a way I could, at the age of 20, actions resulted in my arrest, facing 2 years of incarceration. I was presented with the opportunity to become a participant of District Attorney Anthony Galini's Emerging Adult Court of Hope each. Without each, my case would have been addressed in regular criminal court and left me with a felony criminal record. I have lost 2 years of my life serving my sentence. Also, assuredly would have come out without the prospect of a job and once again facing financial distress. I wish I could say to you I would have chosen a different path, but my guess is that this scenario would have led me to make more poor choices and eventually to another arrest, rinse and repeat. Or I could go down a different path by joining each, which, while no walk in the park, should sound better than being in jail. Each provided me with opportunity to have my criminal case dismissed if I completed an 18-month program that required I stay out of trouble, stay clean from drugs, alcohol, and submit to regular drug tests, engaging in ROCA's program and checking with them on a daily basis, and meet weekly with the court. I chose to join each, and it changed my life. Through CBT, ROCA helped me to learn to make better choices. I also earned my GED and participated in transitional employment programming. I have learned to better manage my health which has fueled my passion for helping others, particularly people with disabilities and those struggling with addiction, and led me to pursue a career as a peer support specialist. I am proud that last fall I passed a certification test, which has allowed me to advance in my career. None of this would have been possible without District Attorney Galini. Each court is a team effort. I can't thank Judge Mobley and ROCA team enough, but DA Galini is the linchpin. For the rest of my life, I will be grateful that it was Hampden County that made poor choices and got arrested. Well, a blessing that was because it was there in the DA. Galini's Emerging Adult Court of Hope, that I was offered a second chance and opportunity to build a better life. Please join me in congratulating District Attorney Anthony Galini, as I have privilege to present him with the ROCA James E. Mahoney Award of 2024.
Good morning. Zion, thank you for that very warm welcome. You're lucky you're not still in court because you mispronounced my name multiple times. It's Galuni, and you heard it about 17,000 times in the last 3 years, but I love you anyway. And you know, this is a representative example of the work that we've been so fortunate to do. When I met Zion probably over 3 years ago, he was introverted, he had very little self-esteem, he was in a bad situation with a criminal case that certainly would have netted him a couple of years in jail. And he didn't have any of this outward expression of confidence and hope that I think we see today. And that's a credit, not to me or not to the court, that's a credit to Zion. So I'll have a round of applause for Zion. You know, when we started this conversation 6 or 7 years ago about doing something different for emerging adults, understanding the brain development science, our own sort of collective anecdotal experience around the recidivism rates and seeing young people come back into court and things get progressively more serious for them, I didn't know that we would end up in a court, and I certainly never foresaw being here and being acknowledged, and it's an honor of a lifetime. We really sought initially to give young people an opportunity with accountability. As Zion alluded to, it's not easy. This is not a slap on the wrist, and it's not for low-level offenders. We're talking about individuals who are at a precipice, who are on a cliff, and we're giving them that opportunity to take responsibility, to work hard, to invest in themselves and their futures for their own good, and obviously for the good of our community back in Western Massachusetts. And we've had a lot of success, and we've had some failure, and that was an expected result. We knew that we were going to fail at times, and we were willing for the reward to take that risk. And we've had some tragedies, some spectacular failures, but we've had successes like Zion. And with Zion, he had his moments, the motorcycle Zion, you know, there was a couple things, but that is the process of change, right? That's what behavior change takes. And it was mentioned in the video, it's an 18, 24 month or more process, and it comes with failures along the way. And our court is willing to accept that, for really our goal and our mission is to change lives. And we've had 4 graduates, which is a modest sort of success rate, Zion being one of them. But those 4 people, like Zion, are on to careers, are not going to reoffend, haven't reoffended, and are in stable housing and have had a complete life change, a complete change in circumstances. But we've also changed many other lives. Those in our program now, those participants, even for just a couple of months, we see the behavior change, we see the engagement, we see the growth, right, of self-confidence. And I'll tell you right now, it's changed all the lives of the people involved in the court, mine being number one. Because when I go into court on Thursdays, we meet every Thursday, I walk out of that courthouse feeling much better than when I walked in. Because these young people give me hope. It's inspiring to see their fight, their grit to overcome and take on so many different challenges. And it's a platitude to say, hey, I accept this award on behalf of other people. In this case, it's absolutely true. I would not be standing here without the incredible team that we have with each. And at the risk of forgetting people, they know I love them and I appreciate them. I'm going to start with Jennifer Fitzgerald, my first assistant, who was in these conversations from moment one. Deb Roberge in my office, the probation team, who has been incredible. Judge Maltby, who succeeded Judge Maureen Walsh and puts in incredible work and commitment to this court, and ROCA. And I'll end on thanking ROCA and saying that we would not be able to do this, right? And there is no analog for ROCA in Western Massachusetts or anywhere for that matter. It's not to say if we didn't have ROCA, we'd have somebody else and we'd be here and we'd be doing each. There is nothing around that does what ROCA does to relentlessly commit to helping people and changing young lives. And without them involved in this court, we could not do it. Solomon, Chris Judd, Martha, and Molly, who is an inspiration to all of us, certainly to me. And she was with me from moment one with this idea, and they continue to support this court in ways that are absolutely incredible. So I'm so honored to accept this award. I accept it really with all of our team, and I'm so thankful to you for supporting ROCA in everything that they do in Springfield and really much broader in Boston and Baltimore and so many other places. So thank you so much.
Thank you, District Attorney, for your leadership, and Zion for showing us what is possible for all young people. As we shared earlier, we continue to meet the most remarkable people who help us get better, advise us, challenge us, and teach us. One of those people was the late Greg Torres. Greg, along with his wife, Betsy Patullo, who is here today, was generous, helpful, and oh, so challenging with his expectations. I would visit Greg on a regular basis to talk about the work, what we had to do better, how to navigate systems and the many complex issues and politics facing and impacting young people. While pushing me to think differently, he was kind and wise. I think of him often looking down over his glasses, talking with me about something important that I was supposed to get better at, and thinking, oh boy, am I over my head. He made me better, and he made ROCA better. Unbelievably, we have a short video of Greg talking about ROCA.
Taking what we used to think of as old-fashioned outreach work in the streets, street work with at-risk youth, to a very sophisticated program. I think the biggest difference is it combines this sense of purpose, this mission, with a discipline around what works. ROCA has always asked the question, why are we doing this program? How do we know that it truly works? And they develop data sets and analytical tools to try to answer that question. There are lots of people in this business that mean well and that do good work, frankly, but they don't put their models to the test the way ROCA does, and I think that's the distinguishing characteristic.
Today, we are so honored to launch the Greg Torres Capital Fund in his honor. We are renovating our headquarters and center in Chelsea. It is a $5.2 million project. We have raised $2 million to date. You can read more about it in the program book. And many thanks to Victor Agran and the Architectural Resources of Cambridge, Consigli, and Goulston & Storrs for their generosity and help and incredible talent. We will be moving back in December, and we will invite you all. And thank you again, Betsy, and to the rest of your family for allowing us this privilege. ROCA's work with over 400 young women and young mothers in Massachusetts and Hartford is focused on young women at the center of urban violence, who are also multi-system involved. The violence and complications in their lives is nothing short of heartbreaking. And their courage and their love for children is humbling and breathtaking. I am honored to introduce you today to Sunindya Bala, the Executive Vice President of ROCA's Young Women and Dual Generation Team, who will introduce to you the second winner of the Viche Phung Peace Award.
Good morning. At ROCA, we have the incredible privilege of working with a very special group of young women. They inspire us every day, show us that change is possible, and are true examples of courage and hope. Through their progress, we know that we can break intergenerational cycles of violence through relentless outreach, building trust through transformational relationships, and teaching critical, life-saving cognitive behavioral skills. I want to take a moment to recognize our incredible staff across Massachusetts and in Hartford, Connecticut, who do this work. To say it's not easy is an understatement, and without them and without all of your support, this work would not be possible. ROCA's young mothers are at acute, elevated risk of being victims and also instigators of violence. Over the past year, we've seen a rise in incarceration, in human trafficking, and in young mothers being separated from their children. The young woman we are honoring today was a victim of intimate partner violence. She was shot at by the father of her children, and the bullet landed inches from her son's head. But what you'll hear next is a story of transformation that started when she put trust in ROCA. We are so proud of her and so grateful to her for sharing her story.
My name is Jalexis Velez, and I am 22 years old. I had a really tough childhood. I dropped out of school because I didn't have new uniform and I didn't have shoes that fit me for school. From when I was 14 and I got out of foster care, I was literally in the streets. My life before ROCA was a mess. We were sleeping on empty air mattresses. My baby father had got evicted from his house, so we were both homeless together, and I was pregnant. We went through a lot together. No matter what he did to me or what we went through, I would always go back to him.
When her daughter was first born, it was her first child. She was so proud to be a mom. She really wanted to be that parent that she wishes she always had.
I don't let people in, so I think one of my biggest challenges was knowing who to trust. It got to the point where he pulled out a gun, and even then, I still answered the phone when he was in jail.
Many of ROCA's young mothers lose custody of their kids for reasons that are outside of their control. Someone might be in a violent relationship. It feels safer to stay. However, those decisions sometimes have consequences, like losing custody of their children.
When Jalexis's children went into the system, into foster care, she was hysterical.
I felt like my whole world was ending. I couldn't believe it. I thought that was it.
CBT helps young mothers regulate their emotions, identify their thoughts and feelings when they're in stressful parenting situations, and react differently, which also in turn models and supports social and emotional regulation for their children.
CBT helped me because I could get mad or triggered by something and put myself back in that situation. And it really helped me with learning how to stay present.
Jalexis is a completely different young woman from the young woman that I met 5 years ago. She is confident, she makes decisions and acts on her values.
I can say I'm stable now. I have a job, I'm working, I'm involved in groups, therapy, I feel like I'm being a better me every day. I would love to get my kids back this year. That's my biggest goal. That's all I want. All I need in this life is my kids. Waking up, breakfast, brushing teeth, going to school, coming back, gymnastics, after school programs. I love it all. Like, I cannot wait to get back to that. I love being a mom. I love the idea of making my own family and making a family that's not broken.
Thank you, Jalexis, for sharing your story, and may we all hope to be as brave as you. Thank you again to all of our sponsors. Without your help, we cannot do our work. On your tables are donation cards and envelopes, and if you haven't already or you'd like to give again, please do. I am now thrilled to introduce you to two great people. One who is a new friend, and one who we have been following around for years. The first person we read about in a few articles and got in our head we had to meet him, because his life as a teenager was just like that of so many of the young people we know. For those of you who know us, this is sort of a usual thing, whether you are a young person or a grown-up or a corporate leader or a judge or just someone who inspires us. If we get in our head that we need to know you, we will find a way. It is called relentless outreach. And with the help of one of our partners, we found our way to meet Larry Miller. He has kindly spent several days with us, met with young people and partners, gone to a state prison, and sat in a circle. He will tell you his most remarkable story. We are so honored, Larry. The other person is the Lieutenant Governor, Kim Driscoll. She's incredible in so many ways. Her great heart, her smarts, and remarkable leadership. And most importantly, she understands that we actually have to do things and do them differently to help people and bring change. And of course, as many of you know, not all of you, all roads lead to Chelsea, where ROCA started and we first met her. Thank you and welcome to Lieutenant Governor and to Larry Miller. I know you all will enjoy this conversation.
I feel like I needed a better sneaker game today. I told Larry earlier I would have normally had my Converse on, but I thought, you know, you're Nike. And he said, no, we're all one family now.
That's right.
So I could have worn them, right?
That's right. Converse is part of the Nike family now.
That's right.
Matter of fact, there's some Converse people here.
Yeah, terrific. Well, what a treasure to have you here, to be able to spend some time with ROCA and to hear more about your story, especially as we think about all we can do to help young people after this inspiring morning. Can you take a couple of minutes just to share a little bit more about your journey, how you got here? And I'd love to know, were you surprised by the reaction you've received since your book came out?
Sure. I grew up in West Philadelphia, was a straight-A student all through elementary school. But as I got to be 12, 13 years old, the streets started to pull at me, and eventually it became more important to me to please people in the street than parents and teachers. That led me to join a gang and kind of be in and out of trouble. When I was 16 years old, I shot another young man and he died. I was drunk, I was angry, one of my friends had been killed, and this person was an innocent young man, had nothing to do with any of that, and just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And that's something that I regret every single day of my life. I was charged as an adult, pled guilty to second-degree murder, was sentenced to 4.5 to 20 years, did the 4.5, got my GED while I was doing the 4.5 years. Got out, went back to the same neighborhood, same environment, same situation, ended up in trouble again, in and out. Eventually was arrested with 5 armed robbery charges. The last time I went to prison, they had a program there where you could actually take college classes inside the jail, and then you could move into these trailers outside of the jail that, and live in those trailers and just leave every day and go to school, have to be back by 8 o'clock at night. I ended up getting into that program, got my associate's degree while I was in that program, transferred to a halfway house in North Philadelphia, transferred my credits to Temple University. Got a degree in accounting of all things, being a criminal. I don't know why I chose accounting. But ended up, when I was about to graduate, I had applied to a lot of the big 8 accounting firms at the time, and ended up going to spend a full day interviewing with one of the firms. And all day in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, should I share my story with these folks? And finally, I get to the last person who's the hiring manager, and I decided that I was going to come clean and share with this guy. So I kind of shared with him my story, and when I'm done, he reached in his pocket and pulled out an envelope, and he said, I've got an offer letter here that I was all ready to give you, but I can't give it to you now. I can't take a chance, and I wish you the best, but I can't hire you. And at that point, I had to make a decision, because my first thought was, have I done all this for nothing? Like going to school, putting all this time and effort in, and they're not going to let me, utilize it anyway. But I thought about it, and I said, you know what? I'm going to continue down this path. But I made the decision that I wasn't going to share the information anymore. I wasn't going to deny it if it came up. I wasn't going to lie about it if asked or on an application, but I wasn't going to volunteer the information. And for 40 years, I built my career with folks not knowing my background. I ended up going to work for Campbell's Soup Company, worked there for 5 years. They had a program where they would reimburse you for tuition, so I ended up getting my master's degree while I was there, and then kind of got my career going. I worked for Campbell's for a few years. I worked for a newspaper company for a few years. I ended up moving out to Portland to work for a company called Janssen. They make swimwear and sportswear. Did work there for 5 years, ended up being the president of Janssen. Ended up connecting with Nike and getting hired by Nike. I was hired as the vice president, general manager of apparel in the U.S. And I didn't know it at the time until I got there, but I was the first black vice president in the history of the company when I started there. Worked for Nike, and at the time, Michael Jordan was about to retire from the Bulls for the second time. And he did that a couple times. And there was a lot of concern around what's going to happen now. And myself and a number of other folks felt like there was an opportunity to build this business, to take that logo and create a brand. And so I was involved in doing that. Worked for Nike for 10 years. Left there, went to work for the Portland Trail Blazers. I was the president.
I'm wearing the red and blue just for you. Red and black, just for you.
I was the president of Portland Trail Blazers for 5 years, and then ended up going back to Nike to run the Jordan brand again. And about 3 years ago, we started a advisory board and for the Jordan brand. I'm now the chairman of the advisory board. But my oldest daughter, was pushing me all along the way, Dad, you need to share your story. It can motivate and inspire some folks. And I kept Heisman her, no. Finally, she convinced me that it was the right thing to do. And so her and I worked on it together. And the book came out about 2.5 years, 2.5, 3 years ago. And it's been amazing since then, the response that people have had. And the other great thing is I've gotten to find out and connect with amazing organizations like ROCA, and be able to understand and realize that there are people out here who are really serious about helping to change people's lives. And so to me, that's been one of the great benefits of this. The last thing I'll say is that Once the book came out, or right before the book came out, I got an opportunity to meet with the family of the young man that I shot. And it was an amazing situation. I was able to express to them my sorrow and remorse for what I did. Again, I was a different person at that point. And they each talked about how what happened affected them. But at the end of each one of them speaking, they said, "But I forgive you." And there were tears and hugs, and so that, to me, that was one of the best things that ever came out of this situation.
The good news for all of us here is that everyone here will receive a copy of Larry's book, Jump, as you're leaving, so you can get more of the Cliff Notes version that he just shared with us. But it's a really inspiring story, and I know many of your colleagues and others had no idea of what that history was, and so to see it come full circle and for you to be here with ROCA, I think was inspiring for the individuals you were able to meet with yesterday as well. Because Molly puts you to work. You just don't get to come here and have breakfast,
no,
right?
I mean, I have no issues about ROCA's work ethic. Because I got off the plane at 7 o'clock, I think it was around 7, and they were waiting for me. And shot me up to Springfield, and we it's been a great 2 days though.
Great.
They worked me hard, but it's been a great couple days.
Yeah, fantastic. You know, you had this opportunity while you were serving time to tackle education. I'd love to know your thoughts, especially given the folks who are in this room. We have a number of elected officials, individuals who are engaged at every level of the system. Like, what did that mean to you? What kind of advice would you have with respect to the importance of boosting educational opportunities for young people in particular?
So for me, I'm 100% clear that education changed my life. The ability and the opportunity to get an education really was what allowed me to change my life. One of the things that I'm really kind of proud of is that Harvard Business School actually did a case study based on my book. And they did a really great job at it. They built great context around it. But one of the charts that they included in the case study showed that, so the recidivism rate, people get out and within 2 to 3 years are back in, is about 77%. But the survey and the study that they did showed that if people are able to learn a skill or a marketable skill set, a marketable trade, 77% drops to 30%. If people are able to get a bachelor's degree, 77% drops to 6%. And with a master's degree, it's at 0. So to me, that's a clear-cut indication that with educational training, with skill set training, with people being able to learn skills that allow them to have a decent life, to be able to support a mortgage, buy a car, those type things, people don't go back to jail if they are able to take advantage of those type of opportunities. And so I think the more we can provide opportunities for people to be able to learn, whether it's education or whether it's some type of skill set, it will reduce the recidivism rate, which in turn will reduce crime in our communities, because a majority or a large part of the crime is done by people who have been in the system and are involved in that revolving door. So I think, to me, without question, education is a key to changing people's lives.
So important, as we know. It's so important, as we know, most folks are coming back home, and to be able to have some education or a skill set that they can utilize is critical. But that next step is getting that job. And so we also have a lot of business leaders here, and oftentimes it can be a scarlet letter. And can you just talk a little bit about what we should be thinking about as folks who are employers in this room to help us overcome? We believe in redemption. How do we get there? What advice would you have for business leaders as they're thinking about it?
I think, to me, a lot of it starts while people are still incarcerated. To me, I was able to start on the path to changing my life while I was still incarcerated, even though I took classes while inside, but once I got into that program, I think that I was at a conference not too long ago, and there were a number of people there who had been formerly in the system, and they asked, they were talking about this one young lady who had done a significant amount of time, got out, had changed her life, was working for a major company and doing a great job, and her boss was there. And he talked about the opportunity that she had gotten. When they asked her about the opportunity, she said, you know, I don't really see this as an opportunity. I see it as a privilege. And to me, if you got people working for you who see their job as a privilege, who see it as something that they, you know, are love to do and are excited to do, you're going to get better performances out of people like that. Some of the most intelligent, creative people I've ever met are people I met when I was incarcerated. And to me, if these same people were given the opportunity, their lives would be totally different. There's a commercial for a college, and I don't remember the exact college, but the line in the commercial that really stuck with me said that in this world, talent is distributed equally, but opportunity is not. And to me, that's a major, major issue that we should be trying to address. How do we provide more opportunities so that all of these talented people out here can actually make a contribution to our community and to our society?
Yeah, so true, so true. Definitely feels like the time is right. There's a lot of research to back up this information, and I think a willingness on the part of many leaders, especially here in Massachusetts, to try and turn things around. You know, you did have an opportunity yesterday to meet with some young individuals, young men, I believe, mostly in Springfield.
And women.
And women. There were women there too. Good. I'm glad to know that. And obviously, ROCA is really trying to reduce urban violence, and a lot of that, unfortunately, does involve youth and young people. What did you say to them? What would you say to those of us who might be working in that space in terms of a message for young people who want a brighter future but are sometimes losing hope?
I think you're right. First of all, I think it starts with people wanting to change, wanting to do something different and better with their lives. And I know because there were a number of times throughout my younger life when I was still involved in criminal stuff that I really wanted to change my life, but I didn't know how. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know, you know, how I could do it. And I remember sitting on the steps in West Philadelphia with some friends talking about it and saying, and this is quite a while back, so saying, I was sitting there saying, hey, if I could make $500 a week, I'd be good, but nobody's gonna hire me and pay me that kind of money. And back then, $500 is kind of a lot. I know that doesn't sound like much today, but it was just the mentality of not having hope that I could really, you know, do something positive with my life. So I think it starts with people wanting to change, and I truly believe that there are a lot of people that want to change. But then it's like, okay, what's the process? What's the path for them to get there? And I think the more we can provide that path for them, again, I think the violence and the things that are going on in our community are connected to the financial situations there, and the fact that people don't have hope, don't see how they can get out of their current situations. And I think that lends itself to violence. The other thing, and I mentioned this yesterday, is that for a lot of these young people, there's no value placed on human life, and even to the point on their own lives or anyone else's lives. They don't see the value. Like, I know growing up, I never believed that I would live to 25 years old. I just, in my mind, I was like, you know, I probably won't make it to 25. And the reality is, so therefore I didn't see a future. I didn't think about what I should be doing to build my future. I think we have to somehow figure out how to provide hope for these young people, because to me, if there's hope for them, then you know, the violence and things that they're involved in, I think will change a lot. But we have to figure out how to let these young folks know that there is an opportunity for them to change their life. There is an opportunity for them to move out of the situation that they're in. Yesterday, meeting with a number of the young people, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at them, and I could see myself in those young people. I could see myself sitting in those seats. But my hope was that they could look back at me and see themselves in me and say, hey, if he's been able to do this, if he's been able to change his life, if he's been able to move forward, then I can as well. And so that was kind of my hope and message for the young people yesterday.
Yeah, fantastic. You know, you've had the chance to spend a couple of days with ROCA, and like we acknowledged, we put you to work.
No question.
I think those of us who have had the good fortune to work with Molly and the team at ROCA understand so much about what they do and obviously why it works. Incredible rates, 97% retention rates, significantly reducing recidivism compared to individuals who are not involved with ROCA. Like, we just need more ROCA for sure. But I'm curious, like, how do you think this program is working, and why is it working so effectively in your mind?
Well, like I said, first of all, they really put me to work the last couple of days. I mean, without question. But it's been an amazing couple of days for me just to see the lives that they've affected, how positively some of these young people respond to ROCA, and seeing how dedicated the staff is that gets out. And I know that they track people down because they tracked me down. They stalked me and tracked me down. So I know that process. But to me, one of the other major things that's come out of this whole process for me is the ability to see organizations like ROCA who are out here doing really good work and are focused on, you know, changing people's lives and helping these young people to see that providing hope for these young folks and providing the ability for them to see a pathway out of the situation they're in and into changing their lives. So again, my hats off to ROCA. You guys worked me to death, but it's great. I actually went up to Concord, to the prison there with Molly, and visited a young man there named Elijah, and it was a great conversation. He shared his story, I shared my story, and we were able to kind of help each other and support each other. I benefited from hearing his story and seeing how emotional he got and how dedicated he is to changing his life. And it's because of ROCA that he will be able to come out and have a different life and be able to get on a different life path. So again, my hat's off to Molly and the whole team. I've met some incredibly dedicated people that work with ROCA and are a part of ROCA. And in addition to folks that support ROCA. I've met a number of people that are supporters of ROCA and support the work that they do. And it's been great for me to be here for a few days to get an opportunity to see and be a part of the amazing work that they do. And I just want to say thank you to them.
Yeah. The reflection in the last 20, I didn't realize it was 28 years, I had it around 20 years, being someone who worked in Chelsea at the beginning, and folks at that time, Jay and others will remember, there was actually a lot of animosity between the police and ROCA at one point. Like, they didn't see each other as partners, and to understand where we are today, it's a real tribute, I think, both to Molly and her team and to leaders on the ground, particularly within public safety, who said, we have to do something different. Like, we can't just spar all the time. And now to see a hotel room filled supporting an organization that has proven results in saving lives, and to have Larry here to be able to share his story just creates the momentum that we need to make sure we're doing all that we can collectively to improve the lives of young people, and that's really what this is about. I can't let you leave here without talking a little bit of hoop. As someone who not only headed up the Jordan division at Nike and obviously was the president of the Trailblazers, you know, there's a big debate about who's the GOAT in the NBA. Some people think it's Michael Jordan. Some people are talking about LeBron James. You won't be surprised that here in Boston, we probably have another name on our list. So I'm not going to ask you who the greatest is, because people like you now, Larry, and if you don't say somebody else whose name begins with Larry, there could be some problems here.
Well, you know, you guys have to remember I'm from Philly.
Okay.
So Philly, the Sixers, the Celtics, you know.
The famous picture, right?
Yeah,
we can recreate that right now, Larry. Dr. J, Larry, people know what I'm talking about? Thank you, Peter. So what do you think of the Celtics this year? Let's keep it diplomatic, because they're a good team, and we think they're going all the way. We're ready to cue the duck boats.
I think they have the opportunity and the ability to go all the way. Love Jason Tatum. He's a Jordan brand player and love him. He's not just a great player, he's a great person, a great individual. So, but I think my Sixers got knocked out last night, so I guess I'm gonna, be looking at the Celtics for that.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So, but again, I do think the Celtics have I think they have the best chance in the East to go all the way.
All right, we'll take that, right? We'll take that. Please join me in thanking Larry for not only sharing his amazing journey, the courage to talk about it, but then putting in the work to help us improve efforts and opportunities on the ground for better outcomes, not only to helping individuals. In this Commonwealth, we believe we can't lose anybody. We need everybody off the bench helping build a stronger state and stronger opportunities. But it takes putting in the work, and that's where the organizations like ROCA and the work you're doing make a really big difference. So thanks everyone for being here to contribute to it. Thank you, Larry.
Okay, as we wrap up, just a few minutes over here. Larry, if you thought the first trip was busy, wait till the second one. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll and Larry Miller, for treating us to such an engaging and important discussion and allowing us in. We are so grateful for your belief in the young people and ROCA, and we are privileged to know you. Thank you again to Justin, Zion, and Alexis. You are incredible. By the way, although a master's degree is expensive, it is cheaper than prison. And thank you again to all of you for coming this morning, for your support, for helping us with our mission. I hope as you leave today, you are energized and inspired as I am. And finally, I want to thank again the incredible ROCA team and young people for allowing us in your lives, for working together. I hope you have a great day and a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much.